and welcome to my channel, Talisman Tarot. In this reading I will be channeling a message from Spirit, and so I have 3 groups for you. This will be group number 1, this will be group number 2, and this will be group number 3. And so I will ask you to use your intuition and choose whatever pile speaks to you the most. And so let's proceed to the reading. Hello, group number 1. You chose this clear quartz, and so I will start with the channeled message before I proceed to the cards. And so this is a bit specific, but and a bit random. But if you have like a Berlingo car, then maybe you need to check that car for some reason. Maybe or maybe if you know someone who has a Berlingo. So that came in for some reason. Also, I heard bald eagle, so maybe that's your spirit animal. So okay, so I heard Nana, so maybe that's your grandmother, and Nana is present right now, so she wants to say hello. So she wants to tell you, well, that she loves you, but I also hear like she wants you to walk near the water. So I think she wants you to get out of the house more. And so the sea is coming in quite strongly. So if you don't have a grandmother, I just think you need to connect more to water, the water element. So maybe also if you have a grandmother who has passed away, I think you could connect with her by walking on a beach near the sea. Maybe your grandparents took you out to the beach a lot when you were a child, and so maybe they want you to remember those times as well. If not the beach, maybe the harbor. Maybe your grandparents had a boat. So, or maybe you just have a special connection to the ocean and water, and maybe you have felt this way since you were a child, that you always had this weird sensations throughout your body when you were near the water or near the ocean. Something about like the sea breeze, maybe especially in your nostrils, and like the fresh air in your lungs, creating like an almost sparkling sensation in your chest. And so I think you need to have that sensation more. You need to get those feelings more, those feelings that you get when you are near the water. So I also heard the Hanged Man, so maybe you have a big decision you need to make, and maybe that is why you are being encouraged to go for walks. Maybe this would help you make the right decision. Maybe you need to walk alone out in nature to really contemplate on whatever decision you need to make. I think you might have been ignoring this decision for a while, and so I think the spirit wants you to get out of the house, walk near the ocean, and just clear your head and wait for the answers to come to you. wait for the nature to inspire you and show you the way. Also maybe ask the spirit for a sign. I also think spirit wants you to take a break from maybe social media and maybe technology in general. So go for walks in nature without taking your phone with you. I think as soon as you detach yourself from social media and technology, you will be able to live more in the present. Of course, I know it's difficult in a pandemic where we are not able to socialize physically and where a lot of our work and school has become online. But I think that might be why it's so urgent that we need to detox from social media. I think also you are advised to meet more people face to face, which I know is an annoying piece of advice considering the situation we are in right now, but that's coming in. So maybe if you have like a friend you can reach out to, maybe that would be good to talk to them face to face. But let's draw some cards. Or I actually think I'm just going to draw one card for you. So okay, so 9 of Swords. Okay, that makes a lot of sense actually. I think you are spending too much time alone in your house, and I think that is making you very anxious and depressed. And I think the decision I was talking about before, I think this decision is impossible for you to make because you are isolated. For example, if you are in school, you might consider quitting school entirely, and I think you are being advised to really consider this, because now as you think back on the time before Corona, you might not have so fond memories of school. You might focus on the negative, but maybe you will change your mind when you actually meet your classmates again, and then all the good memories will come back to you. So maybe contact a classmate, and if you are not in school, then maybe this is a colleague. You can maybe reach out to a colleague. Maybe this will help you. Also, maybe if you feel like you are failing the semester or losing interest in your studies, maybe talking to a classmate will actually make you realize that you are not alone, that a lot of your classmates might feel the same way as you. Maybe this will help you cut yourself some slack, actually, because maybe you have felt like you were a failure for not being able to focus on your studies. But if you realize that everyone else is kind of failing as well, you might not feel like a failure anymore. Like you will maybe recognize that you're not wrong, but it's the situation that is wrong. That if the circumstances were different, then you wouldn't have this problem that you have right now. So like also in this picture, it's actually a very interesting picture. I love it a lot. I love this deck. It's my favorite deck, Yolanda deck. So if you look at it, it's a lot of swords, 9 swords piercing into a heart. But if you look closer, It's not swords at all, it's birds. And the blade is actually, the blades here, they are actually feathers. And so I think that's quite fitting for this situation you are in right now. I think you think the situation you are in right now, you think it's a lot more, it's a lot worse than it actually is. Things are not as bad as they seem. I think you're letting something affect you too much. Like maybe you are afraid of failing your exams, but maybe you shouldn't be so afraid. Like if you have been procrastinating the whole semester and feel like you can't possibly pass now, that you don't have enough time to study for your exams, then maybe relax and go out more. Maybe meet with some classmates. Maybe you will realize that you might actually not be so behind. And even if you are behind, you might be able to wing it anyways. Like maybe you will pass, but maybe you will pass with a low grade, but who cares, really? No one is going to look at your grades after graduation. Like no employer is going to look through your grades. They are going to look at the front cover. They are not going to look. They are not going to examine your grades. Like they're not going to analyze them. So. And if they look at your grades, well, you can always say that, well, it was in the middle of the pandemic. Like you have an excuse, actually, that like no one. You're not supposed to get good grades in the middle of a pandemic. Like so, people will understand that. So cut yourself some slack, and remember that grades are not that important, really. And so I think I also think you should remember that your spirit guides are protecting you. They have your back. I think they want to reassure you that it will all work out in the end. That there's no need to worry. I think this is also your Nana reassuring you. I think the spirits want you to look on the bright side. They want you to live in the moment, not fearing the future, because fearing the future is actually what might be blocking you from planning ahead. You're not like you're so afraid of the future. You're afraid that everything will end in ruins, that you will fail your exam. Like if like that, you're afraid that you will fail, and in a way, thinking of like failing is actually making you not want to think about your exams. Like the thought of failing is what is stopping you from actually studying for this exam, because when we think of something unpleasant, we of course try to ignore it. It's natural for our brain to try to ignore unpleasant things so that we don't stress ourselves. Because, well, it's, well, so we are protecting ourselves from this, but and so you might be doing this, but by ignoring them, you are blinding yourself from actually seeing the solutions. And I think there are a lot of solutions, but you're not seeing them because you are so afraid of thinking about the future. And I think your spirit guides are trying very hard to show you. They are dropping hints and clues, and you need to pay attention to your spirit guides, what they are trying to tell you. I think the spirit really wants you to go on a spiritual journey within. You need to discover yourself. You need to figure out your own values, what is important for you, what you want out of life. Also, I think you need to ask yourself which relationships you have in your life, which relationship you value, and then try to maintain those relationships. If you have been neglecting them for a while, reach out to them. Also, look at where you are currently. If you're in school or in a job, think about how you got into that school or how you got that job. Think about your achievements throughout the years, the praise you've gotten. Try to remember your skills, your talents. And so if you are experiencing like sleepless nights because of an exam coming up, try to remember your previous exams, what your teachers told you in those exams. Remember the positive feedback. Remember that you have come this far for a reason, that it's because you are good at what you're doing. And so stop fearing that you're not good enough for the challenges lying ahead. And also, if the challenges are not inside your comfort zone, if they require some expertise that you feel like you don't possess, then just do the best you can. And remember that the outcome doesn't have to be good, because this is not your field of expertise. That doesn't make you any less good. You are still really good in your own field of expertise. People can't take that away from you. We're not all supposed to be good at everything. Like if you're in school, it is actually not a bad thing that you get low grades in some courses and high grades in others. It just means you are good at focusing your energy. And we should actually all be doing this. We should all be true to our path, the path that is shown to us by spirit, which means that we will have a natural interest for some things, and those things we have an interest for will benefit us in the future, and that's why we are interested in them. The interest is our intuition, like telling us that this is the right way, that this is something we will use in the future. This is beneficial for us in the future, and all people have a level of foresight, but foresight needs to be trained. We are on training our foresight in school if we use the same amount of energy on each course, because then we are not prioritizing, we are not selecting, and the prioritizing and the selecting is actually something that is training us to be better at using our intuition. Our intuition, and our intuition can see the future. By following it, we will only learn what will actually be relevant to us, what knowledge we will need in the future, and we don't actually have to do anything special to activate our intuition, which is a beautiful part of it, because the only thing we need to do in order to make our intuition work is actually letting the intuition work for us. and our intuition works really hard on this. It tries to catch our attention, and so, well, to work with our intuition, we just need to be true to our own preferences. The topics we find most interesting, the books that look most appealing to us. But of course, the intuition's number one enemy is the afterthought, and it's overthinking. It is like taking a book down from the shelf because it looked appealing to you, but then changing your mind as soon as you read the name of the author, or and maybe because you read an article about this author, and this author had gotten a bad review of some, and so like this is also about the opinion of others, like how the opinion of others are hindering us from actually being true to our own intuition. We shouldn't let the opinion of others form our choices. So it's important to really look at our preferences and be because of like the preferences holds the key to our future. We can see the future through our preferences. Do you prefer, like you can actually train this by making like a list, like what do you prefer, and then you can write like 2 things down, like do you prefer math over biology, do you prefer cats over dogs, do you prefer the city over the countryside, and when you actually answer these questions, you are actually closer to uncovering your future, because those choices you make, they are choices you are making because making with your intuition, and those choices are uncover something about the future. And so study your preferences, write them down, analyze them. Also, if you have chosen an education, maybe think about why you chose it. If you are, for example, studying history, did you choose history because you had an incredible history teacher who inspired you, and you looked up to him, and you just thought to yourself, I want to be like him one day? Or did you choose or did you choose this education because you went to a guidance counselor, and the guidance counselor looked at your grades and saw that you had gotten an A in history, and then encouraged you to choose history because of that grade? And so if it was because you were inspired, then you have chosen the right path. But if you chose it because it fit with your qualification, because you had gotten a good grade in that in history, like if you had chosen your path because of that, then you might have chosen the wrong path. And so also if you were actually inspired to start this education, but you have lost interest in it now, or have been having second thoughts lately, then try to remember what it was that inspired you in the first place, and maybe see if that memory can give you the spark back. But also if the inspiration actually was a teacher you had, maybe reach out to this person. And I know you probably won't take that advice, but I thought I would mention it just in case, because I think it would actually be beneficial for actually both of you, because like maybe telling this teacher what an inspiration he or she was to you. It doesn't have to be a long conversation, but maybe this will actually be very nice for both of you. And you could also just send this person a letter, actually, or maybe this is, well, maybe you can do just, this is maybe something you can do for yourself. Maybe sit down and write a letter to this teacher, praise him for all the good things he did. You don't, and then you don't have to send the letter. You can just do it for yourself, to remind you why you have chosen this path for yourself, and what you want to do as a teacher yourself, and how you want to inspire your pupils. Of course, I'm not saying you're all going to be teachers. It's just an example. It can be everything really. But that's what I see for you, group number 1. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. Hello, group number 2. You chose this geode. So I will start with the channeled message, and then I will proceed to the cards. And so I think some of you might have a photographic memory, which might both be a blessing and a curse. I think some of you might have experienced something in the past that you would wish you could erase from your memory, and I think you might have PTSD because of it. And I think, like, I heard blast from the past, and I think it's supposed to be understood in a very literal sense, that the past actually blasts you, and it almost feels like an explosion happens when it does. I also see that your grandfather, I don't know if your grandfather is dead, but or maybe I think he is coming in for some of you. He doesn't strike me as a talkative person though, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get much out of him. I get the sense that he might have worked with his hands. He might actually be a mechanic, like car mechanic, and so I think if you have a Hyundai or a Nissan Qashqai, or know anyone with a car like that, then maybe this car needs attention. Also, this could be my own grandfather actually who's giving you advice. He was a mechanic, but you might need to change the oil and look at the exhaust system. It might not be working properly, and it wouldn't hurt either to look at the brakes, just to be safe. Well, that came in, I don't know. So, but let's draw some cards. So, King of Wands, Knight of Swords, Justice, and 10 of Pentacles. So, with the Knight of well, with the King of Wands, actually, here I think Spirit is acknowledging that you have gone through a lot and I mean a lot. Like in this picture here, you can see that this king has experienced a lot of hardship. He has all his limbs replaced with prosthetics, and on his head he has a wooden crown, and this tells me that all your experiences have formed you into the awesome human being you are today. I think Spirit really wants to tell you that that it wasn't all for nothing. It has, you have had so much, you have so much experience because of this, and I also think the Spirit is telling you that your traumatic past might actually be the key to your success. I think the Spirit is encouraging you to share your story, maybe write a book about it. I know this is hard, especially if you have PTSD, and so you might be very afraid of opening that door because you are afraid that you won't be able to close it again. But I think you should give it a try. I know it is like, I know it's hard when you have photographic memory to remember your traumas in details, like, because you do remember them in details. You remember them like it was yesterday, and so it can be really hard to remember those things. But maybe you can turn this into a positive thing, because if you write an autobiography, you will have an advantage because you can remember your past in details, and therefore you can write it down in details as well. And so also maybe for some of you, this trauma you have been through might actually have activated a spiritual gift. Maybe you went through the dark night of the soul recently, and so now you might be much more connected to Spirit. So I think you are being encouraged to use this gift as well. And with the Knight of Swords here, I think Spirit is telling you that if you have something on your mind, something you want, you would like to do, maybe a passion project, then just do it, and do it now. Begin right at this second. Don't wait for too long, and don't be afraid to take a chance. The worst possible outcome is actually not as bad as you think, and I don't think you have anything to lose, really. Also this card, maybe your trauma has to do with someone who took advantage of you, a male who might have treated you badly, and so with the Justice card here, maybe I think you will get justice for what happened to you, what this person did to you. I think if you won't get justice like directly, I think you will get it indirectly. I think the universe has your back. I think they will punish him. He will not go unpunished. That's what I see. And so with the 10 of Pentacles, I think you are abundant, and if you are not abundant right now, you will be in the future. And so also there is nudity in this picture, and alcohol. So I think both like this thing that could have happened could have had something to do with nudity or alcohol, and but also I think you will get abundance from uncovering yourself, like not in a literal sense, but uncovering your story in a book, and so well, for some of you, maybe one of you, this does. I think this is very likely that this could have been sexual abuse, and if that's the case, I'm really sorry for you. I think that's horrible. So I think, but I think you will gain prosperity from writing an autobiography, or maybe a podcast, or even videos on YouTube. I think you have a story to tell, that and it's important that you tell it. It's important not only for you but for the people who will read it, because it will help a lot of people. People will relate to it, and also I think you have a way of writing that is very honest and maybe even funny, like tragic, comical, that will really captivate the audience. So that is coming in strongly. So I think you haven't got justice from what happened to you. I think there's definitely some injustice here. Like, you, even if this, like, if it's sexual abuse or rape or something like that, then the person who did this to you might not have been punished for it. But also I think it could also have been that you were neglected as a child, and you might have contacted social services as a child, but they didn't help you, or maybe this was harassment, like someone harassed you, and you contacted the police, and if that is the case, I think it will be beneficial for you to write about this experience and show it to the public. You might not be able to get justice by filing a complaint or something like that, but maybe it is actually a lot more efficient to just write about it and publish it to the public. Maybe this will give you justice, or at least a sense of justice. I think many people would actually be outraged by your story, and so you would probably get a lot of support from others. People would get mad on your behalf, and I think this will help you come to justice, like come to peace with what happened. For some of you, I think this might actually, like, if you had an incident where you contacted the police and the police did nothing to help you, I think actually this might have been, like, the police might have actually been the worst part of that story. Like, the police was actually the biggest criminals in that story, like how they treated you. So I know that can't relate to all of you, so I know it's specific for one person, but well, yeah, but if this happened to you, I think the police like might have belittled you and made you feel even worse about what happened to you. And if that resonates with you, I think you should definitely write a book about it, or write a, if not a book, then write an article about it, or a blog about it. Make it known to the public. Don't silence this. I think you should take action. You should take control over this situation. You have felt like maybe you felt like you weren't in control, that there was nothing you could do, that you just had to sit there and accept this treatment, but the spirit is telling you that there is another way, and that is to go public with your story. The system might work against you, but don't underestimate the power of the people. I actually believe your story can change something. It can make a difference. You can make a difference for all the people who has been in the same situation as you, fighting for their cause as well, fighting for the people who can't speak up for themselves. I think for some reason I think of a fable in La Fontaine, and it's about this man who believes he can teach everything to everyone, and another man bets that he can't teach a monkey how to understand words. The man then accepts this challenge, and they agree on 10 years. If the man hasn't made the monkey understand within 10 years, he will be decapitated. And so this is, for some, this is a foolish challenge, and so the man justifies his decision by saying that it's not likely that the monkey will live that long, and if the monkey does live that long, maybe the other person who will will prosecute him, maybe this person will die within the next 10 years, or maybe he will die himself within the next 10 years. So it's a risk he is willing to take, because no one knows what will happen in the next 10 years. So I think this is your challenge as well. Maybe like you have to take on this challenge to teach these monkeys to understand it. It might seem like an impossible task, and it might take 10 years, and there is a risk that this might end up affecting you in a negative way, but it's also likely that it won't. And also for some of you, I just realized that, like, if you are thinking of actually filing a police report on someone who harmed you, you might be afraid that this will make it worse, that this will make them mad, and then you will be in even more danger. And maybe if this person like gets sentenced to 10 years in prison, you might be afraid that when they get out, they will come for you. And so the message in this context is that that can happen a lot in 10 years. The monkey can die, the person can change, the circumstances can change, a lot can change in 10 years. And so be like the person in this story, be brave enough and take this challenge to teach this monkey a lesson. And so that's what I see for you, group number 2. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. Hello, group number 3. You chose this geode necklace, I think. Maybe it's an amethyst. I'm actually not sure, but I think so. The first thing that like I will start with a channeled message and then I will proceed to the cards, and like the first thing that comes in is the sun. So I think you are being asked to spend more time in the sun. Maybe you need vitamin D. I know there isn't a lot of sun this time of year, but maybe you also have a bad sleep pattern, and so maybe you sleep throughout all the hours where the sun is actually shining, and so maybe try to change that a bit and go for walks while the sun is shining. Maybe actually go for morning walks or like afternoon walks, but also take vitamin D supplements. I think that would be very beneficial for you. Okay, so also if you have a blister on your finger, I know this is extremely random, but if you have a blister, put a band-aid on it. There's no just so that it won't get infected or something like that. It's not serious or anything, but like just for your own like well-being. Like it would be annoying if it got infected. Also, like I see a panda, and so I don't know if a panda is like your spirit animal, or maybe you collected panda toys as a child, or something about a panda. I don't know. It just came through. Maybe it's relevant for you. I don't know. So for one of you, you might live in Monte Carlo, in Monaco, and so, or maybe you are considering traveling there. Like, but if you live in Monte Carlo, then that's pretty cool. Like, it's a beautiful place, and that's nice. I also heard like Minneapolis, so that's pretty cool as well, of course. So Monte Carlo and Minneapolis are big cities, so you don't have to be like from one of those two cities. Like you could just be from a different city but a city that is like big, like a city with a lot of skyscrapers, and so that's maybe why you need vitamin D. It might not be that easy for you to walk outside, because like if you leave your house or apartment, you might walk directly out on a very busy street. Like corona might be very bad where you live, so maybe your area is under lockdown right now, or maybe you're in quarantine, or so maybe you're not allowed to go outside, which might make it very impossible to get some sun. So but you could of course maybe open your windows and pull away the curtains. But of course if you live somewhere where there's a lot of skyscrapers, then maybe windows won't help that much. Maybe the other buildings are like shielding like you from actually getting any sun. Like and if that's the case, then well, just take vitamin D supplements. That's just as effective, I believe. So and I think you should really do this because vitamin D is extremely important for your mental health. And so if you have been depressed lately, taking vitamin D is a really great place to start. But let's draw some cards for you. So the High Priestess in reverse, the Hierophant in reverse, Knight of Swords, Eight of Wands, and the Fool. So actually I've never had both the High Priestess and the Hierophant in reverse in a reading before, right? That must be significant. So okay, so for some of you, well, you can read this in various ways. But like sometimes the Hierophant and the High Priestess are the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Sometimes they are both used as significators for like when you do the Celtic cross, for example, like you need a significator, and so it is advised sometimes to use the High Priestess for females and the Hierophant for males. Usually it's they use the Fool, though, if they don't know, if a reader doesn't know the sign of the person they are reading for, like so there's some. I think in this particular reading, I think this is about love, actually. I think there might be someone in your life, someone who's really, really smart, a Hierophant, and you might be really, really smart as well. You might be the High Priestess. This person might have more conventional or traditional knowledge. This person could be studying in the university something, and this person could also be a teacher or a mentor, but it might be in a field that is more traditional, and you might be more into spirituality and hidden knowledge and the occult and mysticism and religion also. Like you might have those interests and those fields of knowledge that you possess a lot of knowledge in those areas. This person possesses a lot of knowledge in more traditional areas, and I think this is actually a wonderful couple. Like I think it's a power couple, really, because these two complement each other really, really well. I think you might actually have had a lot of discussions with this person where you talk to this person about a lot of deep things, and you had a lot of deep discussions and very, very inspiring discussions. And I think I think you know this person, and I think your discussion have actually inspired both of you. It have maybe sparked something in both of you that made you change a lot. Both of you changed a lot from actually meeting each other. But since these two are in reverse, I think you are not in contact anymore, which I think is a big shame. And I think that's also what these cards are talking about. They are encouraging you to take action quite quickly. I'm not rushing you on anything, but I think it would be I think Spirit is asking you to take a leap of faith and just try it out. Just reach out to this person, send him like a text message or something like that. And I think maybe this person is also thinking about reaching out to you as well. And so I think you this person could also be an Aquarius or a Libra or a Gemini, which also makes sense, because I think there's a like this person is a lot uses his head a lot, or his or her head, like they are very much in the mind, and so it could also be a Taurus. Actually, it's someone who's really who's just a smart person, really. And so I think this person has been on your mind a lot lately, and you might have been on this person's mind a lot as well. And it can be that Corona is the thing that is keeping you from uniting. I think maybe, but I think, well, I think this relationship is actually really special. It is very likely that this person is your soulmate, and I'm really excited for you, really. So he's like the knight on the white horse, and so for others of you, if you don't have a person in mind and this doesn't resonate with you at all, and you don't actually want love right now, I think this could be that you are being guided towards something, but you are not listening, with the High Priestess reversed. That your intuition is trying to tell you something, but you are blocking it from coming in, and maybe you're experiencing a strong pull to go in some direction. Maybe something to do with spirituality, but you might be blocking it because you might be too traditional. Maybe your guides want you to discover your spiritual gifts, but it could also be something else. I think you have a strong pull towards something, maybe a career path, something you really want to do, but you are afraid to do it because it's not conventional enough. Maybe you're afraid that your parents will what your parents will think of it, that they won't accept it. But I think the Spirit wants you to follow your intuition, and if it feels right, then go for it. And so take a leap of faith with this. And so that's what I see for you, group number 3. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye.